I am Dana Malcolm. This is your midday edition of Top Stories for Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. Coming up, it is the news that matters most.
There is simply nowhere else in the Turks and Caicos Islands that you can find such a wholesome variety of your favorite fresh foods. There is simply nowhere else in the Turks and Caicos Islands that you can find such outstanding service. And there is simply nowhere else in the TCI to answer your every food craving in a chic, comfortable, centrally located store. That's a place you can trust. Number one is Graceway IGA. Fresh, service, trust for over 20 years.
According to Bahamas National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, criminals are using the very things which are advancing nations like technology and globalization against national security efforts. A powerful two-day convening in Nassau late last week was intended to disrupt the trends and establish a smarter, safer, more secure region. It was the third convening of the Northern Caribbean Security Summit, which facilitated closed-door talks to unearth new strategies for staying ahead of the rising threats linked to gun violence, human smuggling, drug trafficking, prosecutorial challenges, and, of late, a contentious territorial row between Guyana and Venezuela. Among those in the room at the British Colonial Hotel in Nassau were Usha Pitts, U.S. Charge d'Affaires, Delaney Daniel Selvaratnam, Governor of the Turks and Caicos, Adam Pyle, Deputy Director of the U.K. Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and Bahamas Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper. The meeting concluded on Friday. For the first time, residents who use Millennium Highway will have a sidewalk to utilize along the winding expanse. Kyle Knowles, Minister of Public Safety and Utilities, made the announcement last week. The sidewalks will be a welcome addition to residents traversing what can be a busy and dangerous roadway. Concerned about misinformation surrounding the practice of vaping among young people, the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force has released a public service announcement regarding the practice.
It's the new fad, and our children and youth are vaping. It is growing in use because they are led to believe that they are safe. Vaping is not safe.
The PSA highlights the risk of vaping, which includes exposure to harmful chemicals found in nail polish, bug spray, and cigarettes, and the addictive nature of the substance. Featuring officers from the Community Policing Unit and accomplished TCI youth in fine form at sporting activities, school events, and church, the message is repeated for effect. Successful youth, of course, do not vape. The FDA says it's strengthening its warnings against vaping. Nearly 70 people in the U.S. have died and thousands more suffer lung disease as a result of the habit, once thought harmless. The target audience for the Turks and Caicos is clearly teens and young adults, exposing ever so subtly that there is a concern about what young people believe and need to know regarding the practice. Here's more from the public service announcement.
Vapes contain nicotine, which makes them very addictive. Of course I don't vape.
The nicotine in one vape is equal to 50 cigarettes. Of course I don't vape.
When you vape, you are 3 times more likely to end up smoking cigarettes. Of course I don't vape.
Magnetic Media is your news leader.
This is an important advisory from Digicel Turks and Caicos. All Digicel subscribers whose SIM cards were issued prior to July 2021, kindly visit your nearest Digicel store and have your SIM card swapped at no cost to you. There's also dedicated SIM swap teams that will be at different locations throughout the various islands on specific days. Please look out for the communication via SMS text message. This is a Telecoms Commission regulatory mandate and enhances network reliability and speed. Please swap your SIM card as soon as possible to avoid mobile service interruption.
It was heartbreak for people across the world last week when Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, appeared for the first time in over a month to announce to the public she was battling cancer. It came after a digitally edited photo of the princess and her children was released by the palace, leading to severe backlash from the press and mounting calls on social media to provide proof of life. She was alive, but it was clear she was frail and struggling with the impact of the diagnosis on her family. Following her announcement, there was an outpouring of sympathy for Kate, and from many, there was also anger at the Prince of Wales, as some offered that William should have appeared with his wife on camera as she made the heartbreaking announcement. The power of attraction. Magnetic Media.
What are informal settlements? The short and simple answer is that an informal settlement is any area comprising illegally built structures, but the reality is far more complex than that. For more information, visit our website or follow our Facebook and Instagram social media pages. www.isutci.com.
As fantastic as it sounds, it was a rocket that forced the cancellation of several flights in the Turks and Caicos over the weekend, according to updates from the government. They were posted to the My Experience TCI Facebook page. The Miami Center suspended departments from the Providenciales International Airport, PLS, until 8 p.m. due to a launch from Cape Canaveral. 5 aircrafts were affected, American Airlines in particular, with flights AA879 from Saturday, AA879 and AA1738 from Sunday all grounded. Another AA flight to Boston missed its time on Saturday, though no explanation was shared by TCIG on what happened to that departure. On the ground, passengers were asked to arrive no more than 3 hours before their flight times to avoid the crowding that has become characteristic of the airport. The rocket launch of SpaceX also impacted private airports in Providenciales. The year 2023 is an indicator of the terrible climate change-induced future to come, according to the UN. Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General, says that some 2023 records aren't just chart-topping, they're chart-busting. It's having immediately visible effects. Antarctic ice is lower than ever, food insecurity has doubled, and on an average day in 2023, nearly one-third of the global ocean was gripped by a marine heat wave. The World Met Organization said in a March 19th report, they're warning that our only hope now lies in renewable energy transmission. That is it for this edition of the news. I am Dana Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us. Top Stories in 5 is a Magnetic Media production.